course, Panama history. And today we're going to be talking about this important century. Panama's technological advancements finally caught up with their aspirations. Panama ran parallel and interacted with the United States, and this can be seen politically, socially, and economically.
Panama was radically changing during the 1800s, all starting with the revolution from Spain.
Mr. Green, how did Panama gain its independence?
Well, during an 18-day-long Columbus revolt, Panama first made their Declaration of Independence, and it soon spread to the capital. Before its Spanish governor returned from marching on rebellious Ecuadorians, Panama's
place when the Spanish were in control. Now the land was redistributed from the large landowners to the small landowners. In addition to their independence, they now decided to unite with Gran Colombia in order to prevent the Spanish from reconquering Panama.
Mr. Green, how is this similar to the U.S. gaining their independence?
Good question. Well, this is similar to the United States because the United States gained independence from Great Britain. When solitary neglect was in place, the United States drafted their own Declaration of Independence.
Let's take a look at the thought bubble.
Oh wait, I gotta go. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Gran Colombia ultimately collapsed because it couldn't be united. So now Panama, in 1830, joined Colombia. However, Panama didn't want to be with Colombia anymore. They wanted to seek ultimate independence. So from 1880 to 1902, there was numerous rebellions that took place in Colombia. One of the most significant rebellions was the Civil War, known as the Thousand Days War, which occurred from 1899 to 1902.
Mr. Green, what was the most important part about 19th century Panama?
Well, it had to be its industrial developments,
One of which was the building of the first transcontinental railroad.
and the other were the first attempts to build the Panama Canal.
Let's begin by talking about the first transcontinental railroad. Hi, you from the past.
Hi.
Did you know that in 1846, U.S. negotiated a treaty with Panama to build the world's first transcontinental railroad across Panama?
Mr. Green,
Yeah.
who wanted to use this transcontinental railroad?
Well, during the California Gold Rush, the 49ers were looking to seek a shorter and safer route to the west coast of the United States. This high demand from the 49ers led to the development of the railroad from the Kansas City Railroad Company.
Mr. Green,
Yeah?
who built the transcontinental railroad?
Well, in 1840, the United States imported its own labor force, which consisted of 3,000 Chinese immigrants and 4,000 other foreign labor workers. Fortunately, many of them died due to disease and injury in the process of building.
Mr. Green,
Yeah?
what's another one of Panama's industrial developments?
The French attempted to build the first canal across Panama. Frenchman Ferdinand de Lesseps had his sights set on building a bridge across the Americas.
Mr. Green,
Yeah?
who is that?
His career first began by building the Suez Canal in 1869 in Egypt. From his technological success, he decided that he thought he could now successfully build the Panama Canal. In 1880, hundreds more of Chinese immigrants came to help build the Panama Canal.
Mr. Sam, yes. Did the French succeed in building the Panama Canal?
No, they really didn't, because of their mountainous geography, which led to mudslides and flooding. This caused 20,000 workers or more to be killed. Another major cause of this, though, was probably due to the crash of,
Compagnie Universelle des Canaux Interrompus.
which supported the French construction of the canal and caused 80,000 private investors to be wiped out, and in 1889, it went bankrupt.
So, if the French didn't build the canal, who did?
Well, the U.S. soon took over the failed attempts of the French to build the canal. The United States was aware of the Civil War going on between Panama and Colombia. This was known as the Thousand Days War.
Oh, was that like the U.S. had a civil war from 1861 to 1865?
Yes, exactly. The United States decided to take advantage of their Civil War. So they decided to ensure Panama's independence in exchange for a generous bargain of a treaty being signed by Panama, ensuring that the United States had the rights to build the canal.
But Mr. Green, did their plan work?
Yes, it did. On November 3rd, 1903, Panama officially gained its independence from Colombia. And in 1904, a treaty was signed by Panama, granting the United States the rights to build the canal.
The Spanish-American War assured the construction of the Panama Canal because the U.S. now needed a two-ocean navy, and also the canal would allow for commerce to flow to both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. In the United States, the war helped to advance the career of Theodore Roosevelt, who was the Assistant Secretary of Navy. He won Vice President in 1900 and became President in 1901 when McKinley was assassinated. It seemed inevitable that the U.S. would control the Panama Canal after the U.S. gained territory in the Caribbean and the Pacific. Congress had to choose between Nicaragua and Panama to build the canal. As we know, the U.S. chose Panama, and it became official with the U.S.-British Agreement made in 1901.
There are many themes, movements, and philosophies seen in both the U.S. and Panama, the first one being industrialization.
The 19th century was called the peak of the Canal Age because many man-made waterways were built.
Similar to the building of the Panama Canal, the Erie Canal was built, which connected New York to the Great Plains. They're both built with a similar goal of wanting to decrease transportation and journey costs in both North America and Europe.
Number 2, independence movements.
Panama became independent from Spain.
And the United States became independent from Great Britain.
Number 3, immigration.
Immigrants were used as a labor force in Panama.
Immigrants were used in the United States as a cheaper labor force now that slavery had ended.
Number 4, financial crises.
The French went bankrupt in 1889 due to their first attempt at digging up the Panama Canal.
And in 1833 in the United States, there was Andrew Jackson's bank crisis.
Number 5, nation building successes and failures, including Civil War.
The Between 1899 and 1902, Panama and Colombia had their civil war.
And in the United States, between the North and the South, they had their civil war.
Number 6, oppressed groups of people.
In Panama, many indigenous societies were suffering due to the decrease in their population.
And in the United States, the main two oppressed groups were women and Native Americans.
Mr. Green, would you say Panama is overall ready for the 20th century?
Yeah,
Ready or not, here they